You were right. Florida residents prepare for a cost of living disaster. And you guys have been actually sharing a ton of valuable information, particularly your own personal thoughts and emotions and feelings when it comes to Florida, especially in response to the video I put up not too long ago about people leaving Florida. But the key with that was it wasn't just Florida. People were leaving all different areas of the country, different states, for various different reasons. But Florida's reasons were somewhat unique to the country based on a few very, very important factors that are ultimately having an impact on people's ability to be able to afford to stay and live in Florida. After being in Florida for 30 years, Florida is no longer our paradise. All those rich, newly retired folks moving to Florida and building homes are in for a rude awakening. Oh yeah, it's warm, but so is fresh dog excrement. The housing market across South Florida is the biggest bubble in the country. The amount of flippers and investors hoarding homes and bidding up and already severely overvalued properties is liking nothing ever seen. They make up the majority of purchases. It's basically a Ponzi scheme at that point, or hot potato from one LLC to another LLC. Buy a home in Florida with insane prices, insane interest rates, and property taxes that'll tear you out a new, nope. Or there is no perfect place. I think that you have to start with the mindset that you will be content with some of the things you are looking for in a place, but not all. Regarding the heat and humidity, I just can't believe that anyone would move to Florida not being aware of just how hot and humid it is during the summer. Two places I have been are much hotter and one much more humid, Las Vegas and Thailand. Some like it hot. I am also one of those oddballs that doesn't mind high humidity. To each their own. Yeah, I'm out very soon. Governor and their party are undesirable. Plus, yeah, it's hot. Now, these are comments. These are not my own personal thoughts and opinions. Florida is a terrible state, period. And what the governor is doing and has done should say enough. Appreciate the info, man. Nice beard, too. Appreciate that. Thanks. I got to get that joker trimmed up today. Everyone is leaving the U.S. My brother, a lawyer, just packed up his family in New Jersey and moved to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, to work remote. His wife works online. Cost of living is a fraction of the cost of New Jersey. If you don't own your own business in Florida, you are screwed. Florida doesn't have a high-paying labor market anywhere outside the cities, but if you're willing to work, you can make a nice living off the well-retired. Insurance companies have been living on a house of cards that's destined to come tumbling down. As for the economy, it's the same thing. We have been living on a house of cards because we've been told that everything is good, and if something does happen, it's not going to be that bad. If something does change, and soon the depression of the 1930s is going to look like child's play because, again, we've been fooled, and they have been busy trying to deflect from what's coming by dividing people and playing people against each other. If you're truly worried about what's happening and you're not preparing, then you're already a step behind. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'd be looking for land that's not close to any place that may flood or has hurricanes. I'd be looking for farmland in interior parts of the country where you can grow food and fish and hunt. There's already been several banks that has collapsed. That's just the beginning if our government doesn't get a handle on things. But I don't think they are looking to do that. They need control. And they can't get it with the current setup of this country and its constitution standing in the way. That's just my 2 cents on everything. But whatever you choose to do, it's all up to you. You said a mouthful there. Move out of the city to find affordable housing and land. Thank you to all the voters who got this administration elected. What a great job y'all have done. Thumbs up emoji. Florida looks like fun over winter, but I'll keep my mountain in my background. Don't forget the governor and his policies. I retired and moved to Florida 10 years ago from Connecticut because of the year-round better weather. More importantly, because Florida was and still is more affordable. Sure, I live within my means. Some things you have to sacrifice for the sake of a normal lifestyle. I can make a comparison list of pros and cons, but I won't. Do your own research. For the working class, find a developed city with opportunities or move to a state with better paying jobs and suffer the high cost of taxes and fees, etc., which depletes your hard-earned payroll. It's about checks and balances. Nobody truly wins but the rich. It has always been that way. There's still way too many people here. I hope they keep leaving. Florida was great 5 to 10 years ago. Now prices went too high and every idiot is moving here. You guys have spoken and I am listening to you, okay? Now, I do want to touch on a few of these comments in particular, specifically, and provide some follow-up, some feedback, a response, a reaction to what you guys have been saying. So let's get started. Number one Jam Yardie 281 says, just came across your channel. I am outside Philadelphia, and it's very true what you say about Florida and a lot of the country. I was looking to retire there or in the South, but doing research, and since I travel, it might not be the best option. A lot of people I know sold and moved out of the states to other countries for a cheaper cost of living and are doing extremely. So I would assume that you meant they're doing extremely well. I'm not 100% sure about that, but yeah, people are moving and leaving, essentially expats moving abroad for a much better life. However you may want to look at it, but cost of living being a considerable factor. And I actually came across Yahoo Finance's article here with Go Banking rates of the 9 safest places to retire abroad for less than $2,000 a month. And this is all based on the current situation of the housing affordability crisis and how it's locking in homeowners into their current interest rates, which will ultimately really tie up and bottleneck the real estate and housing market. But for those who don't have great interest rates on potentially lower home values, then odds are home ownership is not going to be a realistic consideration or a feasible option in the near future. And maybe moving abroad, maybe working in Mexico, maybe, trying to find a job online, working remote is the option, is the answer. A lower cost of living, better weather, lower taxes, and a higher quality of life are all reasons to think about making the move to another country when you get ready to retire. And this is a big deal because retirement savings or retirement income, Social Security, retirement pensions, they aren't necessarily conducive to the situation that the economy is in right now and, the state of Florida and what is happening, especially to homeowners. Renters may be a little bit different, but homeowners are definitely feeling the pain, if not will be very, very soon. So stick with me here. I'm not trying to paint a grim picture, but I do have some important things I want to share with you and show you. It says, and leaving the U.S. for greater pastures, so to speak, is not an idea that's unheard of, okay? On the list, we've got Ireland coming in with the average monthly cost of living at $1,974. Canada, $1,832. New Zealand, $1,669. Denmark, $1,665. Austria, $1,467. These are all U.S. figures, USD. Japan, $1,171. Slovenia, $1,059, getting cheaper. Czech Republic, $1,007, the average monthly cost of living, which is unbelievable, unreal, which I think the actually average cost of living in the United States is like $6,000 or $7,000. Is crazy. So Portugal comes in at $977. In Portugal, it says here that the chance to retire abroad in Portugal for less than $1,000 per month is likely tempting for many. Not only is it affordable, which can make for a more comfortable retirement, it also boasts a temperate climate and a friendly culture. So these are all good things, although Portugal does have a public healthcare system, retirees will have to pay private health insurance for at least the first few years until they become a permanent resident and are eligible for it. So that would be something that you want to take into consideration if that was on the list of possible places that you could relocate or plan to retire. This senior grandma, this says, Jayval 8747 says, this senior grandma left Florida in 2021 because my homeowners insurance tripled. South Carolina is now also crazy expensive for seniors. I tried to find a government DPA program in several states so I could have a garden and chickens. Then the interest rates increase, prohibited getting my own place, more debt each month. At 71, I went back to work, but they tried to screw us out of our pay. What is one supposed to do? I talked to myself and I prayed to God. So, yeah, you're not the only one. We got an article here that says, I'm almost 67. I worked 22 years with Walmart, yet can't afford to retire. And the Financial Samurai says that sadly, giving up on retirement and going back to work is relatively normal. This is becoming more of a popular and growing theme here with retirees. AARP says healthcare is expensive when deciding to work or retire. And the prices, the costs just keep going up. You'll spend more money than you think. And that's due to inflation and price increases and higher prices and food and energy prices going up that don't get calculated into the inflation reports with the CPI, which will ultimately have an impact on your cost of living adjustments. So as those continue to go up, your cost of living doesn't account for that. Housing expenses don't retire when you do. And we're going to talk about that really soon here in this video, because the housing expenses is quite possibly the biggest problem here. And also, don't forget, I've got a video coming up soon with local real estate professionals about just that. So if you want more information on that from real world boots on the ground professionals who've been doing this for decades, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll have that up early this week, this coming week. Might even get an opportunity to do a live stream and you guys can ask questions real time. So, extra income can be hard to come by. And that is one of the things I get asked about most often is, how can I make more money? How can I get a side hustle going? How do I develop passive income? 17 passive income ideas for seniors to boost retirement income. If you guys want to see that video, just say, drop a comment and just say passive income. Just say passive income in the comments so I know that you are interested. And if there's enough interest, I'll be sure to make that video. And also the best side hustles for seniors in 2023. We can run through this. And also, if you guys got questions on how to get that going, how to get it started, by all means, just let me know. I'd love to have that conversation with you. But Yahoo Finance also asks, why are retired Americans struggling so much? Now, I don't think that this is a real question. I would be willing to bet that the retirees are probably better off with their money from a budgeting and frugal, minimalistic living lifestyle, position. But they also probably not all have made a lot of money or have substantial investments that are going to pay them a comfortable amount annually that also has the potential for compounded interest and growth over the life expectancy of their retirement years. And but honestly, the economy, the pandemic, the current administration, inflation, global conflict, the list goes on and on as far as why Americans are struggling so much. And the cost of housing is a big factor here. The housing market is probably more impactful than the stock market. But at the same time, when you got the housing market tied in with the stock market, tied in with cryptocurrency, tied in with everything else that's going on, it is a recipe for disaster. It's exhausting, but I think I'm going to have to keep working the over 65ers who can't afford to retire. And this is it's the same song over and over again. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. I know a lot of folks who look forward to retirement. They really do. And it's unfortunate that right now, and potentially, for the foreseeable future, this is it. The foreseeable future, as far as the housing market and the cost and the price and the increase and the unaffordableness of it. Yeah. Now, granted, over the years, we have seen fluctuations and changes in, pricing and the economy and housing and, market crashes and real estate crashes and stock market crashes and, job loss and wage growth and everything. So the key is going to be, in my opinion, setting yourself up and positioning yourself to, manage this situation and be better prepared. And when we do see that dip, when we do see that potential crash, when we do see that reset, when we do see that pivot, that reversal, then you got to get in. You got to get in where you can, So Yahoo Finance says that the big problem is that payroll services company Paychex found that about 1 out of every 6 current retirees, about 17%, were considering going back to work, with more than half of them reporting that they needed more money. You retired, but no, you cannot live out the rest of your days retired. You have to go back to work. Otherwise, you're going to run out of money before you die. And it's an impact on younger workers too, which the younger workers have an impact on the older workers. And that's when you have like this little headbutt and this little rub with the employers, because they have their own strategy. Because the bottom line is, older workers are worried that they can't afford to retire and are staying on the job longer, which causes concern among corporate executives who want their higher priced employees to move on and open senior positions for younger workers. Key being less expensive workers too. That's the caveat there. That's the trick there. And then it's like, as all of the living expenses, the cost of living continuously increase, the employers want to bring in the younger workforce to pay them less. So how are they ever really going to be able to get ahead, or at least keep their heads above water and maintain with this rapid trajectory of increased costs and prices? And that's where the employers, they want to get you, because they can make you feel good by giving you some performance increases and boosts to your pay, but it would never it'll be far less than what they're paying the older employees, and it will definitely be below the threshold for the current rise in inflation and pricing, to allow them to regain better control and the upper hand when it comes to net income, but ultimately, how much they're going to compensate and pay the workforce. And if they can get that as like a collective whole, then the leverage and being able to pit one job against another, or leaving, or this, that, and the other, they'll always hold the cards, because they've set the price nationwide, worldwide, maybe. Which is why, I would really be focused on not just working for someone, but also being able to work for myself, to always have that option. Which, if you work for yourself, you're your own boss, you're in control, you run the show, everything falls on you. Granted, you still work with others, because you'll need someone or some company to pay you. So you still have to, you still got to work for something. Everybody's working for somebody, but it's just a little different. You see what I'm saying? So, but a retirement planning tip, number one, a financial advisor can help you get ready for retirement. So if you are looking at the future of retirement and you want to make sure you're on the right track, then by all means, I really would say at least have a conversation with a financial advisor, see what they say, see what they think, get multiple opinions, and then, have a plan and strategy to project into the future, knowing that odds are it'll be worse before it gets better. And you don't want to build up a plan to be able to be okay and get by. You want to build up a plan to be able to grow and have surplus and excess, realizing and understanding that this is probably going to get chipped away. That budget's going to get eaten away due to circumstances out of your control. So we got Renee Brown 995. Hi, Kevin. I am glad that you touched on the subject of not having anyone to talk to. There's so much going on and people are keeping to themselves due to fear. I like that you both take us along on your journey. Thank you for such great insight on so many subjects, Central Florida. Well, thank you, neighbor. I appreciate that. And in case new viewers, I like that you both take us along on your journey. So they're referring to Squirrel Tribe. So I really do appreciate that. And we got a whole nother channel. So if you want to go check it out, by all means, feel free. It's a completely different vibe over there. And that's where we post videos about traveling, about life, about, kind of just relaxing, like taking a step back and, just kind of unplugging for a little bit, just being real people, we're always real, but over there, it's like, it's a chill vibe, you see what I'm saying? So, and feel free, comment. You got somebody to talk to, by all means, you can hit us up on Patreon too. And I think it's really important to have that outlet and that ability to have that communication, just to talk. So thank you for that comment. We got KY, maybe Kentucky, Blue Eye Girl 70. And you and your wife are absolutely the most amazing people. It's so hard nowadays to find good people in this world. Nowadays makes me sad the way the world has become so hateful. I think people have just become so scared. We all need to be more positive, make the best of this ugly situation. We all can do this. In case no one has told any of you, you are amazing and loved. We need more of that. We need more of that positive affirmations and motivations and encouragement amongst each other. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And I hear you. I hear you loud and clear, because doing what we do, being on YouTube, putting ourselves out there for the masses, being creators on the platform, and especially with some of the topics that we approach and we breach, man, y'all don't see them because we try to filter them out, but there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of ugliness. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of fear and just out there. And they show up in the comment section. And it's kind of crazy because last night I came across the channel. His name's Kevin Chi. And we actually ended up chatting back and forth on some comments and some replies. But he posted a video. Obviously, I'm extremely interested in it. You guys know my passion, my love for YouTube and content creation and making money from YouTube channels. And his video was titled, "Wait. My YouTube channel blew up by accident and it's dangerous." And so I already knew. I take that back. I thought I knew the direction he was going to go. And I thought he was going to actually talk about the impressions and the reach and the expansion of a wider audience that he was exposed to that could potentially then bring down future videos because they aren't necessarily indicative of what the channel is really about. But ultimately, that wasn't the case. But he did get served to a wider audience or potential audience, increased impressions, more views. He got he had 74,000 or 77,000 views now, maybe 80,000 views now on a viral video that promoted him and prompted him to make this update, this reaction video about getting a viral video with a channel with, less than 7,000 subscribers. He said he was gaining hundreds of subscribers a day and, he couldn't keep up. And it's really cool when it happens, but I've been down this road, and if it's not the right subscribers, then yeah. But with that being said, the dangerous part was the comments, and the comments that he received, he said there were some really evil, negative, hateful, mean people that just wanted to that's just what they wanted to do. I mean, some of the comments were completely unnecessary, unwarranted, and were personal attacks. They are personal attacks. And these are the enemies. These are the fallen angels that are out here in the world. But comments like yours, we really need those. We need that motivational push. We need to keep our eyes focused on, what's most important. Ignore the distractions, ignore the haters, ignore the trolls, know that they're there. Don't let them, creep up on you, but definitely do not pay attention to them and do not give them your time. Do not give them your energy. So I think we got one more here. And this one is from Nancy Purvis 587. This one says, insurance is ridiculous here. I lived here 30 years, not on or near the beach. I had the same insurance company, Farm Bureau, the entire time and never filed a claim. Just this year, my insurance has gone up $1,000. Now the company tells me if I don't get my 16-year-old roof replaced, they will not rewrite my policy. A good friend of mine works for an insurance broker, so I went to talk to her about finding cheaper company. She advised I stay where I'm at, as I would end up with Citizens and it's even more expensive. So I'm having my roof replaced in 2 weeks for $15,900 so I don't get dumped. My home is paid for, and so insurance is not a requirement, but I live in fear of fire ever since I was a child. The other thing my friend made me aware of is insurance companies are not wanting to underwrite houses built in the 70s. What the hell? My friend made me aware of is insurance companies are, my auto insurance is going up $30 next month. I had to get a new phone, so that's going up $30. And Duke Energy informed me my July balance billing is going up $36. God, I love being retired, but every day gets harder. Florida has lost 7 insurance companies since the hurricane last year. Evidently, the Florida legislature is going to start investigating, as a big part of the problem is fraudulent claims being paid out at the expense of those who never file claims. That sounds familiar. It's hard times in Florida for sure. No, you're absolutely right. And so there's a lot that's going on here. Number one, filing claims. Like, insurance companies, they want you to feel protected and feel safe, but they don't want you to ever have to need them to protect you and make you feel safe. And so even more so now, they're trying to get the better policyholders and customers and honest, customers and clients to cover and pay for all of the evil and all the sins of everyone else who took advantage of the system. So 16-year-old roof, granted, it could have been a 20-year shingle. Maybe it could have been a 25, might have been a 30. Maybe it was a 30 that the company decided was going to be a lifetime, or a 50-year roof. Regardless, roofs now are a pain point for insurance companies. They're very expensive. There's a lot of fraud going on, a lot of gouging there. And they don't want to cover that. So if you want insurance, you need to make sure that you cover everything yourself. Your roof, your water heater, your HVAC, you got a pool, like all these things that are high, like a really high cause and reason for claims with insurance companies, are they're gonna hammer you for you to cover it before it becomes a problem, or they're going to drop you. So then you get, and then I actually heard that they were saying that the insurance companies are now trying to say that they don't want to pay for labor. They only want to pay for the material when it comes to the roof. And the labor is probably going to be half, if not 2/3 of the cost of a roof replacement. So if you're paying $16,000 to replace your roof in the future, the insurance would be like, nah, we'll pay 8, you pay 8, or we'll pay 4 and you pay 12. So if they were to pay for it before telling you to just pay for the whole thing yourself, otherwise they're going to drop you and not renew your policy, or they'll renew your policy and maybe write an exclusion for the roof, or they'll rewrite your policy and then increase your premium to cover the cost of the roof over the next 12 months, which would mean that your insurance policy would go up at least, $1,000 a month, more, obviously, $1,500 a month. And this is just the beginning, because apparently next year, 2024, we're supposed to see homeowners insurance going up 25 to 40%, depending. And so car insurance is going up too. All the insurance companies are going to make it up everywhere they can. Of course, utilities are going up, other expenses are going up. I think AT&T is trying to change one of their plans. Like if you're in an old plan that has like all the bells and whistles, they're trying to change the plan so that you can get the new plan that costs more. And then they got all these add-ons. But when we talk about houses built in the 70s, You got lead paint situations, and you have different construction standards. You have different plumbing and electrical that they are calculating these risks and assessing just how much exposure they have, and they are mitigating that risk by moving away from it, non-renewal, crazy high policy premium changes, or just leaving the state altogether. And then any new underwriter or any new policy going through underwriting is going to be hit with an insanely new, increased scrutiny more than ever before. Pensacola News Journal says that Farmers Insurance is the fourth major insurer to leave Florida, underlining the insurance crisis. Another company avoids risky Florida home insurance policies. And this is just on a long list of Florida insurance crisis continues as AAA farmers pull back. Florida insurance crisis explained why multiple insurers are leaving the state. Farmers Insurance is leaving Florida in the latest blow to homeowners. Homeowners, and it's not just Florida either. Homeowners in California and Florida are running out of options to protect their homes as big name homeowners insurance companies pack up and leave. Customers are forced to pay higher premiums for the fewer insurance options that remain. Hawaii, unfortunately, is to be expected, but they're on the list too. And Hawaii wildfires spur insurers to reassess the state's risk. And Hawaii has long been a low risk and profitable market for insurers, but Maui disaster could change that and even have a global ripple effect. So we covered this on another video, but ultimately, the insurance premiums are going to go up nationwide because of other states having to pay out. And there also being some sort of statute of limitations on how much insurance premiums can be raised after a disaster event. Disaster. I'm not going to say natural disaster. I'm going to say after a disaster event. Hawaii wildfire spur insurers to reassess the state's risk while Maui wildfire losses mount up. Homeowners in every state will pay a high price. Every state. All state and top insurers brace for Maui wildfire impact on finances, and aid trickles in as homeowners' losses and risks from Maui wildfires rise. And so, this is not made up. This is not just opinion. This is literally like the fact. I'm just sharing with you guys the news, what's going on, what's happening, so you guys are aware and know and can get better prepared. Florida lawmakers are scrambling to fix a property insurance crisis before the hurricane season, as they've already announced that if a major hurricane comes through, they don't have enough money to pay for the claims. And citizens, although the last resort, you're insured, but I mean, it's like having someone owing you money who's broke. They're never going to pay you back. They're never going to pay you what they owe you. Like it's almost like it's worthless. It says that an avalanche of lawsuits fueled by roofing scams has plunged Florida into a property insurance crisis that has forced dozens of companies to shut their doors, drop customers, raise rates, or flee the state altogether. And the roofs, high ticket items. Again, we talked about the storm chasers in previous videos. They show up with their jacked up F-250s, fully wrapped, big chrome forged wheels. And they're coming in to, get you signed up and absorb your deductible and get the insurance company to pay for new windows and upgrades and this, that, and the other. And, yeah, that's been going on for quite a while now. And it was a game of musical chairs. And now the music has stopped, or at least it's about to stop. And the insurance companies are looking at the situation saying the music's going to stop soon. And there are far fewer chairs than there are of us. And we're about to be out of this game altogether. And the next one starting up isn't anytime soon. So they're going to sit it out. They're going to sit it out. They're going to take the L. They're going to sit it out. They're going to shift and change to a different market. They're going to increase rates where they can in areas that are less vulnerable for the time being, and then try to recoup, regain, reset, pivot, and then we'll see them reemerge in a few years. Odds are, all the other insurance programs that they have, are going to go up. So expect your car insurance to go up, but also expect for the car market to go and be flipped upside down with, insurance claims and total loss situations and theft and this, that, and the other, flood claims on these cars, fire claims, arson claims on these cars. And also with some of these, being worth less because of the financial state that people are in and repossession situations and things like that. It's a growing epidemic. It is a growing problem. You guys were right. You were right all along. Florida residents prepare for a cost of living disaster, and is part of why they're leaving. But it's not just Florida. It's Florida. It's Hawaii. It's California. It's New York. It's literally almost everywhere. And then it's like, well, the areas that potentially you could go that may be safer are the areas that aren't necessarily conducive to supporting large populations of people because they lack the infrastructure, primarily water, and they're in like barren, desert, dry areas of the country. I can see why people are leaving the United States. I can see why people are trying to find a place to go that has a lower cost of living and a improved quality of life. What do you guys think? I'd love to know. Drop your comments down below and we can incorporate them in future videos and future breakdowns and deep dives and drill downs and reactions to, and pay attention to what's happening, what's going on, so that we can continuously try to stay ahead of it and prepare for what's going on, and really differentiate and understand and determine like fact from fiction, and not necessarily just take a situation or a headline for face value, but really get into it and listen to what's being said, analyze it, break it down, and then, extrapolate up from that to build out a strategy, a winning strategy for everybody who feels as though they need some help and assistance in putting those pieces of the puzzle together, if that makes sense. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this video with everyone you know. I look forward to reading all your comments. You guys have a wonderful, fantastic, and an amazing day.